Now, Xi Jinping is embarking on its biggest leadership shakeup in years. Some say that means greater stability at home, but that means that he's open to taking on more risk abroad. Are we about to see a more aggressive China?
Well, I just returned from Beijing just the week before. First, what I saw when I arrived, traffic jams, good sign. The economy is back, and I think their focus at this stage really is to jumpstart the economy and get back to to pre-pandemic levels. So my sense of it, that's priority number one. Now, clearly, they're also aware that the world is not in a placid, calm state, and prime of which the hot war in Ukraine, the sharpened rivalry with the United States, and don't forget, globally, we're still dealing with inflation, food and energy crisis. There's a lot on their plates. But my sense, and certainly the sense from Southeast Asia, it's the economy. That's number one.
But defense is also a priority. Over the weekend at the NPC, we saw how China increased its defense budget by 7.2%, $220 billion on top of the 7% increase the year before. Surely this is a China that has plans, and how will the rest of Asia respond?
Well, I would take a step back and to say that actually the last 7-8 decades of the peace dividend after the Second World War is over. And you're going to see increased defense expenditure in literally all over the world. Certainly in the case of Europe, America still spends more than anyone else, several times more than even China, even after
$800 billion.
Yes, so even after China's increase, it's still a fraction of the United States. So my sense is, yes, I see increased defense expenditures all around. I see this merely as an index of the fact that the post-World War II peace and prosperity that we almost took for granted is over.
But might we see an arms race in Asia? Asian economies may want to respond to China's greater spending in defense.
I expect to see greater expenditure all around, including within Asia. But my point is to recognize the reasons behind this. The rules-based world order, the focus on economic integration, liberal economics, free trade, all that was a formula for peace and prosperity. And now that the faith in those pillars have been shaken, you're seeing people, it's a flight to safety in a way, and they're beginning to have to invest more in defense. So not necessarily an arms race. I don't think anyone wants to see an arms race which subtracts from the ability of Asia to invest in infrastructure, connectivity, productive capacity, education, and training. So long as you don't erode into those things, I'm not going to worry excessively. I'm going to take this as part and parcel of the way the world is evolving.
You're just back from New Delhi. We did not see a communique yet again.
Yes.
Talks derailed by the war in Ukraine. China has come out to say it wants to be a neutral moderator. It's come up with a peace plan. Can China play that role?
I don't think China is overstating its role. What China is on one hand, Russia is a key ally, partner of China, and China does not want to see Russia crushed or destroyed in any significant way. On the other hand, the Chinese have always emphasized that for them, the UN Charter, the respect for territorial integrity, sovereignty, and independence are also sacred. So they are also having to very carefully navigate these sometimes contradictory geostrategic pressures. So to the extent, if you ask me, does China want peace in Ukraine? Yes. Do they want a better relationship with Europe? Yes. Do they hope to try to dial down the tension with the United States? Yes, they do. That's my sense.
But China also is raising the tensions in the South China Sea. That's forcing the likes of the Philippines to gravitate closer to the U.S. I mean, Singapore's always maintained that it does not want to choose sides, but with rising tensions between the U.S. and China, might countries in this part of the world be forced to do it? Where are you feeling the pressures?
Well, first of all, I would say, fortunately, in the case of Singapore, we have no claims in the South China Sea, so that that's one big, pain point that's not present for us. Second, the consistent position that Singapore has taken, in fact, for decades, is that actually this is an area where China can afford to be and should be more generous to the smaller, weaker states in Southeast Asia. Again, territorial disputes on sovereignty may take generations to resolve. But can we, whilst not giving up claims, can we in the meantime focus on the economy? And should China be doing more in terms of trade, investment, and connectivity? And in fact, China has been trying to do so. So I'm not trying to trivialize, the tensions in the South China Sea. But what I'm saying is that if everyone can keep calm, less drama, and follow the money, I think that will be helpful. So even if you look at Southeast Asia, what is it that even the claimant states want? For the claimant states, their territorial disputes in the South China Sea is just one aspect of a much larger and broader relationship with China. They want peace. They want Chinese investments. They want Chinese trade. We need to find a way to do so.